Hey, this is Tony Polanco, computing writer for Tom's Guide, and today we're going to be checking out the Sony Inzone M9 gaming monitor. Despite the fact that it looks like a Sony PlayStation 5, it's actually not PlayStation 5 gaming monitor. Let's check out what it's all about. What makes the Inzone so unusual is that it's a Sony gaming monitor, but it's not specifically for PS5. It's actually built with the PC gaming crowd in mind. But obviously, it actually has some features meant for PS5. So it's clear that Sony is targeting the PC gaming market for several reasons. One, they've already made their encroachment into PC gaming by releasing PlayStation 5 games on PC. Now it stands to reason that Sony, a hardware company, would be releasing hardware for PC just to get further into that crowd. If you look at the actual aesthetic of not only the Inzone monitor, but also the Inzone headset, they're saying it's PlayStation without telling you it's PlayStation. The Sony Inzone M9 gaming monitor will go on sale for $899. It features a 27-inch 4K LCD 144 Hz display with an advertised max brightness of 600 nits and 1 millisecond response time, HDMI 2.1 support, and G-Sync support. It's compatible with PC, PS5, and even the Xbox Series X. As you can see, this thing is not exactly big, so you can have it on your desk without too many problems. One of the unique features about this is we have more of a tripod. This is what Sony told me, that some players like to have their keyboard on this side so they could game with this hand and then with the mouse on the other. The front is mostly black, obviously, and the back is white, just like a PS5. The only thing that may be a problem with its design is that you can't rotate the monitor into a portrait mode. So if you're trying to play something like Ikaruga or any other kind of bottom-up shooting game, you won't be able to do that. As far as ports are concerned, you get plenty of them. You get 3 USB-A, 1 USB-B, 1 USB-C, 1 display port, and 2 HDMI 2.1 ports. There's also an OSD joystick, which basically lets you control all the menus. The M9 has 5 different preset picture modes. They're standard, FPS, cinema, game 1, and game 2. Game 1 is the default mode that you get as soon as you turn on the monitor, and this one works well with every kind of game, but obviously you could adjust it as you need. Cinema mode is for when you're watching movies. Standard mode is a catch-all for everything. Games and movies look good, but obviously you'll want to adjust each. FPS mode also lowers the latency, so you can get most out of first-person shooting games. Sony is advertising this monitor as having 600 nits of brightness. However, our testing revealed that it doesn't exactly hit that. Across most modes, it averages around 395 nits. However, HDR mode, it hits 793 at 40% brightness. Even though this may not be as bright as some other monitors or even Sony's advertised brightness, it was pretty bright to me. Everything came through pretty crystal clear, and I was able to read everything. It wasn't too bright, wasn't too dark. It was that Goldilocks zone of just bright enough. One of the PlayStation 5's biggest selling features is the fact that some games can run at 120 frames a second. This monitor takes advantage of that because of HDMI 2.1 support. And on PC, you could run certain games at 144 frames a second. Needless to say, whether you're playing on PS5 or PC, you're going to get the most out of your games. As far as normal content, movies, TV, YouTube, everything looks great because of how colorful everything is, how bright everything is. And when it comes to both modes, even though it isn't OLED like a lot of gamers want, it looks great. And especially for $899, you're getting really, really good picture quality, no matter if it's games or streaming content. Now, when it comes to audio and gaming monitors, you don't usually get good audio, and this thing doesn't really break that mold. The sound is relatively flat, but with that said, there's actually a pretty good separation between sounds. Nothing becomes too muddled or unclear. So in that sense, it's pretty good, but don't expect the best sound quality. What I suggest, however, is wearing the Sony Inzone H9 headsets, and you'll be all right. So behind me, you can see the Inzone interface, and it's kind of the Inzone line where it's white and purple. as you can see right here, it's relatively easy to navigate through all the different menus. If you want, you could also control everything through the Inzone PC app, which has the exact same settings as the monitor. So before, Sony was kind of dipping its toes into the PC market by releasing its exclusives on PC. It's clear that this monitor is a direct competitor to other monitors from Samsung, LG, and all the other big players. So even though the Inzone line is a little weird at first, it actually makes sense. After all, Sony is one of the biggest TV manufacturers out there, so it stands that it would make a really killer gaming monitor as well. So for $899, you get a really, really good monitor. Has a vibrant display, it's not too big, and it plays all your PS5 and PC games great. The only downside I see, and this is for a very select few people, is the fact that you can't rotate it 90 degrees. But since most games are in landscape mode anyway, that really shouldn't be an issue. Even though it's not exactly a perfect monitor for $899, you can't really complain since it has so many things going for it. Again, great screen, big but not too big. The accent sensing looks nice. It looks just like a PlayStation 5, and it works well with PC and PS5. As far as I'm concerned, it's one of the best gaming monitors out there, and you shouldn't pass it up. If you want to know more about the Sony Inzone M9 monitor, make sure you go to Tom's Guide to read my full review. This has been Tony Polanco. Later.